Waking up with the Bolton Oil Center, Jeff Mudflap and the Gang Morning Show.
So good.
On KLLL.
Good morning. It is Monday. It is April 21st. And how about it? Yeah, all right. Colleen, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
All good. All good. Mudflap. What's your name?
Mudflap.
We're doing good. No, I'm having it's the Monday struggle with I don't know what's going on here. Okay, anyway, I can't really hear, so I don't know. I feel like I'm not here. So, all right. Well,
You're here HERE, but you can't hear HEAR.
Oh,
wow.
Nice, Colleen.
Colleen's gonna be on fire today. Wow, all right.
That all weekend.
Today is Keep Off the Grass Day. It's National Tea Day.
What?
It's World Creativity and Innovation Day. Big Word Day. Hey, all right. Got a big vocabulary. Today's the day to
What's
bust
the biggest
it out.
word you know?
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Wow.
Thank you.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Nice.
And that's a word?
Yeah. I don't think Colleen's
Sure
participating.
I don't know off the top. I mean,
No, that's
I
good.
would have to think about it for a
That was
minute.
impressive.
No, it's
that
okay.
word. What's your word mean?
It means it's the same as disestablishmentarianism, only not that. It's anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that cleared up for you?
Absolutely.
All right.
I don't
No,
know
that
what you
really
said,
is
and I
a
liked
long
it.
word. At one time, that was like maybe
you sound
possibly the
impressive there.
longest word in the dictionary. Maybe I don't know if it still is or not. Though,
I'd break that into some word today. I mean, like you're talking to people.
Yeah, I doubt if I will.
I
but-
got to
Thank you. National Bulldogs Are Beautiful Day is also today. So
Bulldogs are beautiful.
yeah, I guess Bulldogs got together. And hey, man, getting
We
sick
need
and
our
tired of people
day.
thinking we're ugly. We're gonna do something about it.
I think anybody who has really hung around an English bulldog for any length of time, they are such cool dogs.
Have
They
you ever
are.
had one of those? I've never
I
had a
have-
bulldog
They are.
ever.
They do.
I have not, but I had a neighbor who
Yeah.
had them, and her name was Rosie,
Mm-hmm.
and they bred little bulldog puppies, and they were so stinking cute.
Yeah, the only bulldog I was ever around at any length would have been I remember my cousins when I was a kid. They had a bulldog, and his name was Bob. Yeah, Bob.
You want to see Bob?
Bob the bulldog, and he was just kind of he always seemed a little unpleasant to me. But I was just I'm not
Right, because he didn't have a day after him then.
Yeah, that's
so.
true. Yeah,
I
well,
know
that's-
they
nice,
obviously
that one.
felt very underappreciated, so they had to go create their own day.
What else going on? I guess early this morning. Gosh, it was probably around 2:15, something like. News broke that Pope Francis passed away.
That was crazy because I was watching on the news where
I
he had
know.
gone to mass.
I saw that too.
Yeah, and J.D. Vance was there and
Yes.
sat down with him and visited with him for a minute, but he was clearly very ill,
Yeah.
and Vance even had put a statement, just said that it was an honor to get to meet with him, even though he was quite ill, so he'd been sick for a while, but anyway, Pope Francis died, so they'll be picking a new pope, and
Isn't that the one with the white smoke?
and all?
Okay,
yeah,
okay. The
there's
white smoke
black
and the black
smoke, white
smoke.
smoke,
Okay.
and the conclave or something. All the cardinals get together and they
Gotta
vote
wonder-
and things. I don't know a lot about it, but I know basically that's what happens. Yes.
You just got to wonder if it's a thing where people are going to start campaigning for themselves to be picked.
I don't know how that works because it's
I don't
sort of
either.
it's somewhat secretive. I think
Yes.
they don't get out and make speeches and do things. I mean, it's all kind of behind closed doors, and that's why everybody stands out there and watches
Waits
for the smoke.
Yeah.
So.
They're saying it's probably going to be the gentleman that had kind of was the voice when Pope was in the hospital and wasn't able to speak. He was kind of I think they said he was the Secretary of State for the popes or something like that. That he's probably the front runner.
Really? Wow. I don't know.
Oh.
I hadn't heard. You know more than I do. I just know that I woke up in the middle of the night and I was just like, what's going on? And I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh. When I first saw it, I was like, that can't be.
I know. I thought it was
That's fake
news. At
Yes,
first.
I really did. And so I kept looking, and there was nothing else about it. I can't think who I saw. I think who I saw, because it was like 2:30 in the morning. Remember, she used to work here in Lubbock. I think she works in Austin now, perhaps. Her name's Kristen Curry. She was a weather person. Do you remember when she was, I think she worked for KMAC maybe back in the day.
So, yeah.
Anyway, she had put that out there this morning, and that's where I first saw it, and I was like, oh, really? I mean, that's like, that's weird. And so I kept looking around for something else. Finally, I saw where I think NBC News had put something out about it. But, being overnight like that, there was not a lot of people knew about it yet, so it wasn't like the trending thing. But by the time I went back to sleep, then I got back, I woke up again, and by then, that short amount of time, it had already, it was one of the top trending things on X for sure. So there's that. What else? Man, did y'all see American Idol last night by chance?
I did not get to watch it, but I tuned in at the last 10
Carrie
minutes.
Underwood.
You're going to be proud of me. Yeah.
Carrie Underwood's How Great That Art. I'm like, man, we should have played that on Friday.
Yeah.
That is such an amazing song. She is so good.
Did you see it?
I saw a little bit of it. Yeah, I didn't see a lot of it, but I did see some. I turned it on. I was like, oh, there's American Idol, and I watched that one Christian guy that sings.
Canaan, perhaps?
Yeah.
Could you be a little more specific? Because there's several of those. It's a singing show. And,
Well, I mean, he's so good.
Yeah,
man.
Canaan, yeah. He's
so good.
He's only like 17 years old. It's incredible.
Yes, he's really good.
Yeah, I thought that might have been probably one of the greatest, most enjoyable episodes of American Idol I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I mean, oh, man. It was inspiring and amazing. And, Luke Bryan, even the song he sang, I was like, wow, that's incredible. But yeah, Carrie Underwood with the kind of the grand finale of the night there.
That song, she blows that one away.
Yeah.
I mean, when she sings that, it's just like, golly.
Well, since we didn't play it on Friday, how about we just play it right now?
Why not?
It's a great
that.
way to get the day started.
Yes.
You think?
There
Okay.
was another song that I heard called Tougher Than Nails.
Okay.
And it's a country song, and I'll
Joe Diffie.
Yes, Joe Diffie. That was it.
Yeah.
Never heard that song.
Really? Okay.
Heard that. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
So
that wasn't on American Idol, though, was it?
No, it was
Okay.
on.
All right. I was
It
like, I
was
don't
on our
remember that.
Sunday show, Rise Up.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
those two songs really stood out to me this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tougher Than Nails by Joe Diffie. That is a good one. So, all right. Well, to get the day started,
Oh, good.
it's Monday.
So
and
good.
This will inspire you. But yeah, here's Carrie Underwood with How Good. It was just incredible. Just an incredible performance. So if you didn't see it, you can find it's on demand. You'll be able to find it somewhere. But it was really good. And then one of the biggest surprises to me last night, because each of the judges sang a song. Lionel Richie started off, then midway through the show, Luke Bryan performed, and then Carrie, of course, shut it down there with How Great Thou Art. But Luke Bryan, I was like, I wonder what he's going to sing, And there's so many incredible big voices on American Idol.
Yeah.
Luke Bryan's not that type of singer,
Right,
and I was
right.
just thinking, man, I hope he sings something that
He's got to bring it.
Right, I was
Embarrass
sitting there-
yourself.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, there's so many big voices tonight on this show. But he sang a song from his current album, and I think I've heard this before, but I just hadn't thought about it in a long time. And in the context of last night, all the performances, the song he sang, it blew me away. And so I thought, now we got to play that one too. It's called Jesus About My Kids. Does that song just not hit you? Wow. That is, man, I was sitting there watching that last night, and he started singing. And it's funny because this is on his current album, but I hadn't really, I don't know. I don't know if I've even heard it. Maybe I heard it one time when the album first came out, but I just hadn't thought about it. And when he sang that, man, that brings a tear to your eye right there. Man, that is unreal.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the story of being a parent right there.
That sure is.
Kidding.
All right. Well, hope everybody had a nice Easter. And,
Boy.
geez, a couple of amazing
Amazing
emotional songs this morning. Yeah.
Very emotional.
All right. Gosh, what's the weather going to do today?
Pretty nice today. 83 for a high. Got a chance for showers, thunderstorms tomorrow night. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see. So
There's almost all week long, isn't there?
yeah, pretty much all week long. There's a chance. Best chance, obviously tomorrow night, a little bit later, and then into Thursday, and then Saturday looks like a really good chance.
All right. Very good. It was nice to get a little bit of rain over the weekend. That was pretty cool.
Saturday night was nice.
All right. Right.
Hold on tight, folks.
Jeff, Mudflap, and the Gang, featuring Colleen.
Because this rodeo's just getting started.
96.3 KLLL.
Jeff, Mudflap, and the Gang.
96.3 KLLL. Red, white, and blue through and through.
Come on.
KLLL. You ready? Let's go.
Easiest listening you can do in your car, that's for sure. And then you get our app, you can listen easily anywhere else, too. So, Basically, I think you can listen pretty much anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the lesson we're learning this morning. So.
Yes, I think that's the lesson.
The Terminix text line this morning, 806-900-9630. If you haven't checked in, part of the gang yet. Colleen, would you like to go over the list so far?
Absolutely.
I'm kind of putting you on the spot,
No,
but is that okay?
I'm ready.
Okay, get your mouse ready. Here we go.
Good morning to Troy, William, Donna B, Mad Marty, Josie, David, Butch, Miss Lisa, KK, Chris, Zach, Ricky, Big Dave, Tammy, Peggy, Kimberly, Tony, Raymond, Carl, Jeannie, Gary, Keely, Holly, Jimmy, Sean. Good morning.
All right, there you go. If you haven't checked in, be sure and do so. If you've never checked in before and officially become part of our gang here in the mornings, you can do that. All you got to do is just text us your name, your first name, to 806-900. Yeah.
Oh, I know. It was hard for me to wait till I got here to have a piece of my coffee.
Well, thank you for doing that. But no, that's really, really delicious. All right, I saw this over the weekend. I thought this was an interesting question. Kind of makes you think. So, if someone gave you a box that contained everything you have lost in your life, what is the first thing you would search for? Now, not talking about family members and things like that, but I mean just things, just objects that you had, toys or just stuff that you had over the course of your life. Someone gave you a box that contained everything you've ever lost. What's the first thing that you would search for in that box?
Wow. First thing that comes to mind is a big wheel.
You lost your big wheel as a kid.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at. I guess it's in that box.
Yeah, no, but I had a big wheel, man. Did you ever have a big wheel?
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, those were awesome, weren't they?
Those were the best. Yeah.
I was said when I first read this, I thought, oh man, for me, it would be a little red plastic guitar, and I couldn't have been. Gosh, man, I was little. I was 3 years old, maybe 4. I don't know if I was quite 4 yet, but it happened in Lubbock, Dunlaps. That used to be here, and my mom had come over to shop, and I've got this little plastic red guitar, and I wanted to play the guitar so bad from as long as I could ever remember, and so I had this little toy guitar, I took it with me everywhere, and we're in Dunlaps, and I guess I set it down, as a little kid, you do stupid stuff, so I set it down. Well, so we're leaving, and I realize I don't have it, so we go back in to try to find it, and we couldn't find it anywhere. It was gone. And never found it ever. And I have remembered that my entire life. That just, I love that little thing, man. And losing that that was one of the most heartbreaking things I ever lost as far as toys and stuff, because I just love that guitar. And when I read that, I was like, oh, man, first thing in that box, heck yeah, man, I'm digging through there. I'm going to find that red guitar. So,
Wow.
What would you look for? You think of anything that you've ever lost?
I remember when we moved houses, we moved from one side of the town to the other in Norman, and somehow my entire box that had all of my Barbie dolls, all of my Barbie doll accessories did not somehow make it on the truck.
Oh no.
Or it fell off or something, so that was very upsetting to me.
That is sad. That's real sad.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy when you're a kid and you lose stuff like that? Man. Yeah. So think about that. So if somebody gave you a box of everything you ever lost in your life, what's the first thing that you would search for, and to see if it was in there? So you can text us on the Terminix text line this morning, 806-900-9630.
Toby's got he said my old Legos and Star Wars toys.
That'd be some good ones.
Peggy said my Tuesday Taylor doll. We moved and it got left behind. So same thing with me.
Yeah.
Peggy, that's so sad.
Yeah, I know. I guess when you move, boxing things up, it's just stuff just disappears.
Your parents gives it away.
I
Right?
know.
Yeah,
I felt like it was my stepdad that chunked it.
Really?
I don't know. Or
and then
intentionally left it.
Yeah, and then they say, I don't know. I guess it fell off the truck. Oh, well. Mm-hmm. They move on. And that kind of stuff, man, that means something to you when you're a kid, All right.
Yeah.
Well, let us know if there's something like that you can think of, that if somebody gave you a box of all the things you ever lost in your life, what's the very first thing that you would go through that box and see if you could find? 806-900-9630.
Wake up! Hear the Jeff Mudflap and the Gang podcast on the new Sonic KLLL mobile app.
Well, if you've had a few days here, like I have, where the temperature has been hot and you've needed to turn on your air conditioning, whew, man, I tell you what, I'm grateful that I called Absolute Refrigeration, Heating, and Air already. Because the last few years, I've been pouring money into my old air conditioning units, and they were not performing very well, and it really wasn't helping. It was kind of like a patch job. So I decided this year that I had had enough. So I called Joe with Absolute Refrigeration, Heating, and Air, came out to the house free of charge, did an inspection, and found, leaks and stuff, and said, this is what's going to cost to fix it, and here's what's going to cost to replace it. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of putting money into it. I'm replacing the 2 air conditioning units that we have. He made his recommendations on what unit was best for our house, and him and his crew came out. In one day, they had everything dismantled, everything put back together, and my air conditioning system was running beautifully. So if you're looking to repair or even replace your air conditioning systems, call Joe at Absolute Refrigeration, Heating, and Air and tell him you heard about it on KLLL.
From the Dollar Western Wear Studio, this is Lubbock's country leader and home of Jeff, Mudflap, and the gang.
It was fun, kind of relaxing day, small little gathering. We didn't do a whole lot. My son actually smoked a brisket this time instead of me, so
nice.
So that was kind of nice. I didn't have to do anything except show up and eat, so that was good. I'm good at that. But let's see what else going on. I guess overnight, we wakened to the news that Pope Francis passed away last night, age 88, and it was interesting because Vice President Vance had just been there yesterday to see him on Easter, and he just mentioned that he was very ill, and but he passed away early. Yeah, I sometimes I just wake up in the middle of the night, and so I woke up and I thought, well, I'll try to go back to sleep here. Let me see what's going on in the world. So I get on X or something. I'm scrolling down through there, and I see a story about that, and I was like, oh, is that real? Because it looked, I was just like, that's not real. So I looked into it a little further, and sure enough, but Pope Francis passed away age 88, so they'll be picking a new pope. Yeah, it's always an interesting thing they do.
Always
smoke,
the blue and white,
or the white and black smoke.
Yeah.
So watch for that. Tech Spring game on Saturday.
I'm thinking about trying out for the kicking team.
Yeah,
were they struggling in the kicking department? Again.
It didn't look great.
And McGuire didn't know quite what to think. I mean, he was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but but you could tell he was like, some side, he was like, well, but might be concerning. I don't know.
He said they hadn't looked that way in practice.
That's what he said.
And so. Who knows? Could just been an off day. I don't know.
Boy,
they'll figure it out.
An off day there. Woo.
They'll find a guy in the transfer portal if they have to.
Exactly.
Probably, So, but no, it was wasn't a gigantic crowd, but it was a nice crowd. Yeah. It was kind of football weather. It was cool. Listen. It was a lot colder out there than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
For some reason, I don't know. I just wasn't. Because the high was supposed to be like 68 or something, I think, on Saturday, wasn't it? Original, but I don't think it ever made it that high. It sure didn't feel like it on Saturday. Man, it was freezing out there.
That was cold.
Of course, I was wearing shorts and, and the wind. Whew, man, yeah. So, no, I just wasn't expecting it to be that chilly, but it really was. So, overall, though, it's kind of cool to see some of the new guys they got in the transfer portal. Man, that Sampson guy, the offensive lineman, number 79. That is a big dude right there, man.
Moose.
He's ginormous.
I love it. Finally, we got some big guys. That's great.
Yeah, defensive line looks really good. There's I don't know. There's just new guys all over the field, and they look they just look bigger, and this is a lot on the line this year.
It's kind of funny. We were eating out with some friends. I think it was Friday night. And there was a whole table of tech recruits and Coach McGuire. And so, anyway, we had some fun with them. My friend Julia, crazy lady, she goes over there. She said, okay, because one of these guys was pretty big. It's like, so we've got a bet going over here how much you weigh. And I was like, I could not believe she did that. But he cracked up. He thought that was so funny that we were talking about that. He didn't. And so she ended up being the one to win. But then whenever they were getting up to leave, we broke out and then, woohoo, go get it, boys. Raider, power, Raider. So the whole restaurant was looking at us going, okay, cut them off.
Right. It's funny. You never have a table of guys go over and ask some women at a table, hey, we got a bet. What do you weigh? What do you weigh? We got a bet going over here. You would never see that, ever. That's funny.
Not live to tell about it
Well,
anyway.
yeah, that's exactly right.
We thought you were pregnant.
Oh, ouchie.
Golly. I had $200. My friend over here said, yeah. Yeah, see, you never see that.
No.
Nobody, no guy with even a quarter of a brain would ever
not
do
at
something
all.
like that. But no, it's okay
it's
for women to do
horrible.
that to guys, though. It's y'all
they
can do
were cracking
anything,
up.
We don't care, call us big. We don't care.
Yeah, we don't care. You're right. Let's see. Man, is there anything else? One thing I was going to mention, if you didn't watch American Idol last night, even if you don't watch the show normally, they had Songs of Faith last night, and there was some incredible performances there last night. It was so good. It's one of the best episodes of American Idol I've ever seen. So many amazing songs.
I enjoyed some of it.
Carrie Underwood at the very end singing How Great Thou Art was
that was
just
unreal.
Cece Winans was on there, and she sang, oh my gosh, just an incredible song. Luke Bryan's song was amazing. Some of the contestants, several of those performances were just incredibly moving. That kid in Canaan, he's like 17 years old, and just he started the show. Well, Lionel Richie sang first, I guess, and then this Canaan was the first contestant to go. He's unbelievable.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, see if you can find it, because it's definitely worth a watch for last night. Being Easter and everything, it was very, very good. Let's see. Also, this morning we've been discussing if someone gave you a box of everything you ever lost in your life, what would be the first thing you would look for? We're not talking about like family members or anything like that, but just stuff. Just things you lost as a kid or something that meant something to you that just got misplaced, but you wish you had it again. So somebody gives you a box with everything you ever lost. What's that one thing? And for me, it was this little red plastic guitar that I lost in Dunlap's when I was a little kid. And it just, I remember it to this day. And I bet I probably wasn't even 4 years old yet.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough loss there.
Yep.
But we've had some good ones here on the Terminix text line, 806-900-9630. Got a lot of good ones there, so you can find some of those.
Stephanie said, when I was 3, I lost a shoe and a bracelet in the ball pit at Billy Bob's, Texas.
Well, I didn't know they had a ball pit at Billy Bob's.
Either.
Wow, okay.
Let's see. Scott said pocket knife from his grandpa.
Oh, now see, stuff like that is just, yeah.
Brandy T said a dollhouse my granddad built and rag dolls my mom made. For me, it was a box of Barbie dolls that didn't make it from one house to the other when we moved. Toby says old Legos and Star Wars toys. I think it was Peggy that said she had her Tuesday Taylor doll.
Yeah. Got left behind when they moved. What was yours? Did you have anything?
I had a big wheel, but that I'd like back.
Did you have the one with the little handle on the side that was the handbrake thing, or?
No, I didn't get that one.
See, I didn't have that one either. I wanted that one because you could do donuts and stuff,
Yeah.
and spin out. I never had that. I guess that was the kids on the rich side of town that had the handbrake or something. Did yours have a handbrake?
I do not recall.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Man, but yeah, you start thinking about things like that, when you're a kid, just all the stuff you wish you still had or you just lost, got misplaced over the years. I'm lucky I got a lot of that stuff in my attic that I've kept over the years. I'm not a hoarder or anything. But,
no.
Yeah.
There was actually, there was one of those, The Filthy Fortune. We watched a couple of those episodes last night.
I've been watching that. I love that show. Yeah.
It's weird because there's some episodes where they take out the cleanup cost and then split the money 50-50 that was left over. And then there's some where they don't talk about the cleanup cost. They just split everything 60 to the owner and 40% to them.
Yeah, and I saw one day where they didn't hardly make. I think they made $1,000 or something. So he just went ahead and gave the guy $900 and just kept $100. So I was like, man, this guy must have another source of income from somewhere, because when you watch that show, he's not making. It doesn't look like he's making a ton of money most of the time, but. That's a cool show, though. It's been fun. I'm glad y'all mentioned that, because that's the kind of stuff I like to watch. So, it gives me hopefully spending less time watching some of the weird shows that I find myself watching. So, I did watch a movie over the weekend. Oh man, I can't think what it was called. I shouldn't even bring it up because this is a great movie, but I don't know what it was. No, but it was a movie like 2005. We'd never seen it before. It was Angelina Jolie was in it, and it's almost kind of, and I don't typically gravitate towards her. You don't like her. She's not one of your favorites, is she?
No.
in this was actually a kind of a romantic comedy, which I didn't know she ever did a movie like that, and I wish I could think the name of it. It escapes me, but she's like a news reporter, and there's this guy, the guy that played Monk, Tony Shalhoub, I think's his name. He was in it, and he plays this homeless guy, but they call him Prophet Jack or something, and he just stands out in the street and makes all these predictions of things, like anything from who's going to win a baseball game that night to, just all kinds of stuff. Well, she goes to interview him, and it was part of her job. He ends up telling her that she's going to die on Thursday, and she's up for this new job, and she's, I don't know. It sounds kind of like, I don't really, it doesn't sound like a comedy at all, but it is kind of a rom-com. And it was for her, Angelina Jolie. I thought it was just totally different than anything I've ever seen her in. That actually was a really good movie, but I'll try to find out what it was.
She was actually in the news.
It's great. You should see it.
Well, that's something that I wasn't going to talk about in the Dirty Laundry, but since you talked about her, she's blaming her brother for her divorce from Brad Pitt. I'm like, well, yeah, because one of my biggest things I didn't like about her was she was making out with her brother on the red carpet.
Oh.
That's what, and she would wear a vial of her,
Billy Bob
Thornton's blood around her neck. So,
yeah.
I mean, that was just like too weird. But I'm sorry, the making out with your brother on the red carpet, and that was more than once. Yeah.
Well, anywhere, really.
Yeah, anywhere, that's true. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. But, publicizing it and everything.
Right. Yeah, but that's why I said I don't watch a lot of her stuff there because I think she's weird,
She's weird.
But this particular movie, and it's got the guy the love interest guy, he's another one of those guys that he's sort of like to me, he always seems kind of like a low rent Bradley Cooper or what's that guy that everybody always said Kingsbury looked like?
Gosling.
Ryan
Yes,
Gosling.
Yes,
yeah, he's like a low rent one of those guys. You see him in things, but I can't think what his name is. But he's been in a lot of movies, and he was pretty good in this too. Anyway, I'll find
Andy
it.
says, was it Life? I think it was Life or something like that.
Yeah, because it has the word something in it.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe I can get. I don't know if my wife's awake yet. She can. What was that movie we watched? Okay.
American Idol.
Yeah, not that one. All right. Hey, and then Laura Bell, she said, check out Ransom Canyon on Netflix. Yes, this weekend
Really?
I heard, I've had probably 5 people mention that to me this weekend. Say, hey, are you watching Ransom Canyon yet? And I was like, no, I've seen it on there, but I haven't watched it. And said, oh, it's really good.
Oh, great.
So,
It's another Taylor Sheridan
no,
one
I don't
season.
think,
and then
no,
he
I don't think
stops?
it's Taylor Sheridan. I don't think it is, but Life or something like it, Peggy says.
Life or something. Okay, so
that
that's
may
what
be
Andy
it.
said.
That may be, that may be it. I'm pretty sure that's it. But anyway, Angelina Jolie, it was just very different for her,
Very different.
and it was actually not bad. But yeah, Ransom Canyon, and I haven't. Somebody was telling me about it. Said that they do talk about it being east of Lubbock, and like it is Ransom Canyon. Our Ransom Canyon. So I don't know. Somebody who's seen it, you have to fill us in because I haven't. I've got it on the list, but I haven't watched it yet. So, and I'm guessing you haven't either. So.
No, I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, I need to.
How many minutes a day do you spend watching TV?
I don't know.
7?
Probably.
Well, you really, that's really good for you. You stay unplugged in the world. That's really good.
Well, he's on TV, so he doesn't like to watch it.
I know, isn't that crazy? You probably don't listen to the radio either because you're on it. Yeah. You're so fun. You really are. You're a fun guy.
That's funny. He said that, but that sounded kind of, a little, yeah.
What, that he's fun?
Sarcastic. You're fun.
Why do you want to point that out? No, I'm just saying while I'm slaving away watching every TV show and
I watched American
doing
Idol.
all these. You did
night.
watch that. He gets mad at me because
I'm not mad.
See, I'm not mad.
I'm not mad.
He's
Why?
mad
Shaming
now.
him.
He's mad. No, he's mad.
I'm not mad. Why would I be mad?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know either.
Hey.
So, did you do the weather this weekend, or were you on the news?
Yeah, I was being arrested.
I was about to say, was that
Yeah.
Come out with your hands up. Get out of there. So, what was the answer?
Well,
no. I was. Yes, no, I wasn't.
You did the weather.
I did the weather.
You
Yes,
weren't on
no. I wasn't. I wasn't
be on the
arrested.
lookout for this weird dude who's been spotted. Yeah, like stealing Easter eggs.